Hey everyone, welcome back to Death Must Die. I've got a discussion video here for you today. I think it's time that we got a real roadmap for this game and what the 1.0 release is going to look like. And I think it's time we got a commitment to more regular content updates. Guys, if you enjoyed the video at all, hit subscribe for me to help our channel grow. We're getting closer to 1600 subs. All right, so what am I talking about? I want to just briefly go through the history here of Death Must Die. Look, it came out initially on November the 15th, 2023. I initially started playing the game in January of 2024, but so if we have a look, November 2023, when did Act 2 come out? So Act 2 was April 21, 2024. So that's only 6 months between two major patches. Now, what did Act 2 brought a whole new stage, a new character, Lorien, a new god, as well as entirely redoing the skill system. So we have an entire skill tree for each and every character that was added to the game in that patch. And not only that, we got new items, as well as the difficulty system was changed to go all the way up to Darkness 100 instead of just Darkness 30. So this act brought a lot of changes to the game, and the gap between development here is only 6 months. So this proves to me that if these developers really focus on the right thing and knuckle down and really develop the content, then we can actually get more regular updates for this game. It doesn't have to be, oh, we wait a year between updates. Now, personally, I think the development of this game has been led astray over the last year or so by two major things. Let me show you one of them first. So let's have a look at the Steam charts here, as I think this really illustrates the point really well. We have the initial launch, not too bad for an indie game, I would say. Now we have this nice big peak here just before Christmas. So what is this? This is actually Asmongold playing the game, popularizing the game, getting the game out there. So if you guys aren't familiar, Asmongold is one of the big streamers. So okay, then we have a pretty big dip as there's no new content, and then boom, we have Act 2 hits. We have an even bigger peak than Act 1, and the initial Asmongold playtime, right? This is what you call growth. This is exactly what you want to see from the initial launch. You get a nice boost there, and we have Act 2, we have this really nice big spike. This is exactly what you want to see, right? But ever since then, it's been a whole year, and then we have a blip when Act 3 comes out. It's half of what the initial launch was, roughly, and less than a third of what the Act 2 launch was. This is not good. This is a big decline. This is a huge dead period here where people just lost interest in the game. I think this is terrible. I think this is the number one reason why this needs to change. There is no real momentum with this game anymore. It feels like it's almost died over the last year. And then we had to wait a full year between acts, and then Act 3 comes out. And it's not very good, or at least on the initial launch. People had significant problems with it, right? Lots of mixed reviews on Steam, lots of negativity, lots of people coming into my comments and sending me messages saying how disappointing Act 3 was. It's not just me making this stuff up. I've never had a more negative response to Death Must Die videos than when the initial Act 3 patch launched. So I don't think it's fair to credit all of the success just on Asmongold. Yeah, sure, this spike probably would be higher if Asmongold played Act 3, but you know what? There's a reason he didn't play Act 3. It wasn't all that good, especially compared to Act 2. Now, I talked about the beta branch a few times in a couple of videos, but last year they put out this experimental test version of Death Must Die and were seeking community feedback, right? So the very first initial drop that they did was basically impossible. You couldn't clear, none of the builds could clear the first boss, let alone Darkness 100. This version of the game was vehemently rejected by almost everyone in the community, aside from a very small handful of people that just want to always have the experience be ball-crushingly difficult. And clearly, the community pushed back against that. They didn't want that. So eventually, over the next 6 weeks, we got to a point where Death Must Die felt way more balanced and had way more interesting builds and variety. And I think that was a much better place to be. And then what happened? They just rejected all that. They threw all that away and refactored the whole game again for the Act 3 launch. I mean, this was a huge mistake, and it's wasted so much of our time. I mean, look, I don't know how you can look at this graph and say, yeah, this was the right approach, right? I mean, this is a game that's waning in popularity. It's not growing in popularity, right? I mean, yes, we have a boost here from Act 3. I mean, thankfully, we have a boost from Act 3, right? But I mean, It's almost down to where it was before. Again, I mean, it's a little bit higher. We're a little bit higher, but not that much, if we're being honest. Like, there are a few periods here where we had a few more as well, too. So I don't know, guys. I think if we have a look at this graph, I think it's pretty clear that pushing for this feeling of the game being impossible was absolutely the wrong approach. I mean, clearly that mindset dictated how Act 3 was built. The map being super cluttered with stuff everywhere, crowd control after crowd control mechanics stacked on top of you so you can't move. The light armor characters being so squishy, they have to rely on revives. Just the whole balance of the initial launch of Act 3 was a huge mess. And we had to wait a whole calendar year to get it. I mean, I think this is 100% the wrong approach to take for this game. So I think moving forward, we need a real commitment to more regular content updates. I don't think we should wait any more than 6 months between major content patches in this game. If you want to refactor everything, wait until the 1.0 release and do it then. Until then, I would like to see a roadmap that commits to Act 4, Act 5, and 1.0. Obviously, development timelines can change and shift and move around and stuff like that, but I think it's pretty clear to me that over the last 6 months or so, we wasted so much time refactoring the game and trying to make it impossibly difficult for a small handful of people. And look, the super, super hardcore folks who play this game day in, day out for the last year straight, I understand you guys want difficulty. And you know what? I'm not personally against difficulty, but the way Act 3 was developed and handled and delivered to us is a big thumbs down. I mean, I think player dissatisfaction proves it. I think the negative Steam reviews prove it. I think the huge amount of negativity that I got just on doing basic YouTube videos. I got a bunch of private messages, people telling me how disappointed they were. I got long-time players coming back after taking a break telling me how disappointing the act was. Now, they have made some changes. The last patch, like 2 weeks ago, or whatever, definitely made some good changes that made more build variety and all that sort of stuff, right? But there are still clearly huge problems with the way that this game was designed. Not only that, they added so much unnecessary complexity with Act 3 that I think it goes to this same mindset. This game feels like it was developed for people, or Act 3 specifically feels like it was developed for people who've already mastered everything about the game and they have full T2 gear sets and everything. I mean, clearly that is the wrong approach for this game. So, guys, I want to see a real roadmap, Act 4, Act 5, and a 1.0 release. I want some kind of commitment from them that they're actually not going to make us wait a full year for another act here. I don't know. I think it's not good enough to make us wait a whole year and then have an act come out that was so messy and so undesirable from a lot of the player base. But guys, I still really like Death Must Die. I think it's in a way better spot now compared to the Act 3 launch. So I don't want this video to come off as too negative. However, I think it is important for us to get a real roadmap and a real commitment to more regular content updates moving forward. Guys, if you found anything interesting in the video, smash like and subscribe for me. I'll catch you in the next one. I've got some more builds coming, so don't worry. But until then, take it easy. I hope you all have a fantastic, amazing day.